Hey you. Hello and greetings all you sim pit builders and laptop pilots, mouse and keyboard killers and controller commandos, banana on a wall art appreciators and Metallica poster collectors. Star Citizen fans and haters bicker back and forth a lot, but the one thing everybody agrees on is that it's pretty. It's so pretty. The environments of Star Citizen make life in a spacefaring future feel about as real as it can get. Right now we got planets, moons, and various types of spaceports which have fulfilled all the gameplay loops and mechanics that are currently in place. But CIG is rapidly picking up the pace and preparing to add in more game mechanics, player counts, ships, and other facets that require more structures, bigger environments, and additional functionality in the places we live, fight, and explore in. There's a lot to see coming soon, so kill the lights, bury yourself in your coziest blanket, and take a first-class ride through space with me. After that, you already know what to do, boss. Depending on how long you've been playing, you might remember rest stops looking like this. And they all look like this. No matter which one you visited, the rest stops were a yellow bus stop in the middle of nowhere. Then, this past summer, CIG replaced the rest stops with ones that gave us some variation in shape and looked a little less cartoonish. The exteriors changed, but the interiors didn't. Today, they still look like where you hang out waiting to take a bad, cramped bus ride somewhere. This was never meant to be the end of it though. In 3.8, we'll be seeing interior variants. The new interiors will be a lot larger and will reflect the size and shape of the exterior this time around. They'll have more impressive hubs, the usual corporate shops as well as mom and pop shops, and we'll have open storefronts rather than be hidden behind doors. Good old bars will be added to rest stops rather than only existing in cities. In anticipation of your need to eat in the future, there will be food courts with several restaurants, juice bars, and all the tacos you can stuff in your pie hole. No word on the pie shop though. In addition to shopping and eating, we'll finally get the ability to bed down and log out for the night inside of rest stops. This would be great when you show with a hold full of commodities, but I'm just a little too tired to hang around and slowly sell it all slowly. Just hit the sack, log back in later, and slang that illegal cargo. For reference, it takes about an hour and a half to sell off 150,000 worth of slam right now, so this will be good. The view rooms are being transformed from little dead-end areas at the end of stations to big viewing decks in between areas, which makes you a little more likely to notice the view. This combines perfectly with the new stations in low orbit, which will be dotted around planets in the system. The team working on rest stops have created a large number of rooms that their software can procedurally generate into varying stations across the universe, which I'm glad to see for variety, but might make it a little bit tough for you to find a toilet after a long flight when that becomes a thing. Maybe hit the head before disembarking your ship with the bubbly guts. 3.9 will add in unoccupied stations. These will be located a bit off the beaten path and have minimum crew and utility for repairing and refueling. I imagine these will probably be sprinkled around low populated systems like maybe the Nix system. There will also be derelict rest stops that are closed down but not necessarily empty. Could be a good old place for squatters, factions, maybe some orgs to make use of. Make a good illegal pharmacy if you can protect it, young Curtis Warren. Further down the road, you'll have even more types of space floaties like cargo stations and refineries. So eyes open, all you whole series and mole owners. You'll be spending a lot of time at these places. New Babbage, the city of domes on the planet Microtech, most famous for producing the most ubiquitous tech in the verse, man. Microtech will be available in 3.8 along with the New Babbage landing zone, but you have to wait for 3.9 to explore the rest of the city interior. Even the white box exploration of this early version of the city is impressive. Becomes even more dramatic since they made it even bigger. You got the tall structures asserting themselves in the middle of the city with domed buildings filling in the outlying areas, providing different functions in each dome. The plaza, the commons, and the promenade where Odo's watching Nog. The most dominating structure right in the middle with the best views of the city will house the Nest apartments. I know varying units with nicer amenities and views will be for sale in the future, but I'm glad that the initial basic apartments have windows for once. Now, if we could just sit up in bed and watch the ships come in, A feature in these apartments that I love is the ability to adjust the lighting. Here it goes from day color temperature, high key lighting, to a nice moody accent only low key lighting arrangement. Get the mood just right and invite over that Van Duel you've had your eye on. Transportation around the city will be via exposed maglev type tracks. Gotta love that the early tests were done with burritos and hot dogs. You know how many foods are shaped like trains? The best kinds. If public transportation isn't your thing, New Babbage also has garages, or garages for my friends across the pond, to house your ground vehicles. Even though the entirety of New Babbage won't be available right away, you can take the spaceport's elevator down to the garages and drive around the surface, so looks like we may have this in time for 3.8. If not, you can bring in a vehicle yourself. Worth it to at least rent an Avenger and a Grey Cat to go do some donuts with in the snow. But Microtech is more than a snowball, people. It's the product of a terraforming accident which left most of the planet in a frozen wasteland, but not all of it. Temperature and humidity, which I'll talk a little bit more about in another video, play a part in the biomes as well as weather conditions. The highest mountains will be cold, windy, and sometimes beat up by snowstorms. As you move lower down the mountains, a few snow-covered trees will start appearing until you make your way even lower into thick forests, after which you'll pass into plains, and further out you can throw on your knee socks and gingham dress and start frolicking in the flowery fields like a kid at the Laura Ingalls Wilder syndicated TV adaptation. Wait, what? So go walk, drive, and fly through the mountains, frozen tundras, and icebergs, one of which is melted into the same shape as the Nest apartments, right? And take in what Zwade calls the best planet. It's dope. Is it the best though? It's a diverse planet made possible by Planetech V4, which is an overhaul to the system governing assets on planets and moons. Besides creating and governing the biomes based off geographical features and temperature and upgrading texture work, it alters the environment according to weather conditions and makes planetary landings visually seamless, Doctor. It's about as big a leap as jumping from Minecraft to just about anything. Microtech was our first look at Planetech V4, but by the time our next update ships, every single planet and moon will be updated with it. As maybe most of you know, I've done a lot of videos on Elite Dangerous, and it was just impressive being able to land on the moon's surface for the first time. They're procedurally generated, which meant you could have just about as many as you wanted, which was just about all you could ask for at the time. I started noticing that they might just be random fractals like you'd make in Trapcode Mirror for all my After Effects folks. This was fine because I was just happy to be driving in my little buggy over them. Planetech V4 is blowing my mind though. It considers height maps, erosion, humidity, wind patterns, water flow, water accumulation to make super detailed planets and the ability to procedurally generate them. Climate-based authoring of planets is next level stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't end up being licensed out for revenue. Appreciating this doesn't take away from Elite Dangerous as a whole. Elite still has a few superior things going for it, but they really need to have stepped it up by this time next year. Anyway, next episode we'll talk about something a little more closer to your chest and see some action. Big shout out to executive producer extraordinaire, Mr. Ike Shut Your Mouth Show Enough in the building. If I'm not in the Discord and you see him there, go ahead and show him the ropes and Star Citizen. It's a little rough for him right now. I got you too when I catch up with your man. Big know ya clap and salute to all my patrons supporting the cause. Shout out to Commander Blackout. I'm putting an Amber Alert out on you and Star Citizen, man. Shout out to Diedrichs. Where you been? Shout out to the mother. The spanner is all you need, my dude. Shout out to Busser Boy. You been MIA too. Shout out to Anthony Jackson. Bruh. Shout out to Guillotine Girl. I think we gonna see you in the verse one day. Shout out to SM. Hey, we'll finally see you in the verse Friday, right? Shout out to Generalissimo. Holla, man. Wanna know how your free fly experience went? Shout out to Commander Dr. Digital, a commander and a doctor. Too talented, man, too talented. Shout out to every last one of the good folks and patrons of the Dig That and Space Sim Arts. You are appreciated, man. My name is Dig, and that's my time. Fly dirty, citizens.